All right, let's talk about a system that could fundamentally change how you think about your side hustle. We're going to break down how you can actually earn more by working a whole lot less. Okay, first, just picture this: increasing your side hustle income by a massive 86%. And no, that is not a typo. We're talking about nearly doubling what you bring in every single month.
Now, what if you could do that while cutting your working hours by two-thirds? I mean, really think about that. Going from late nights and non-existent weekends to actually getting your time back.
Look, this isn't some far-off dream. This is the very real power of AI automation, and it's way more accessible than you might think. This is happening for people right now. Take Sarah, a scriptwriter. She went from a grueling 35 hours a week down to just 12, all while hitting that incredible 86% income boost. So, how in the world did she do it? Well, before we get to the solution, we've got to talk about the problem she was facing. A problem you might be facing too. It's something I call the side hustle trap. You know the feeling, right? It's that classic trap where you're just trading your time directly for money. The numbers are pretty stark. Most side hustlers are putting in over 30 hours a week, but a huge majority of them desperately want to cut that in half. They're stuck on a treadmill. The only way to earn more is to work more, and eventually you just plain run out of hours. And this chart? This is what that trap looks like. You're pouring in a massive amount of time, but your effective hourly rate stays frustratingly low. Why? Because so much of that time is spent on things that don't directly put money in your pocket.
So, where does all that time actually go? It gets completely drained by all those repetitive, low-value tasks. Things like client onboarding, sending invoices, scheduling content. Sure, they're all essential, but they are the administrative quicksand that just swallows your time and your energy.
So how do you get out of the quicksand? The solution is to build a system that does all this grunt work for you, and that system begins with what we'll call your automation toolkit. And don't worry, you do not need to be a tech genius or a coder to set this up. All you need are a few core tools. A good starter stack would include a workflow platform like Zapier, that's what connects all your apps together, an AI tool like ChatGPT for the heavy lifting, and a data manager like Notion to keep everything organized. Now, the big question: what does this cost? A powerful beginner's stack like this runs about $80 a month. But you have to stop thinking of this as an expense. It's an investment. And as you're about to see, it pays for itself almost immediately. Okay, so you've got the tools. Now it's time to put them together and build what I like to call your freedom machine. This machine isn't some physical robot, of course. It's a system built out of automated workflows. Just think of them as preset recipes of tasks that your apps will carry out all on their own whenever something specific happens, like a new client signing up. So let's start with the one that gives you the biggest bang for your buck: client onboarding. Instead of you manually doing all these little steps, you build a system where a client just fills out a form and boom, everything else from the welcome email to the project setup just happens automatically. And that one change alone is huge. That single workflow can save you 2 to 3 hours per client. So if you have 10 clients a month, you've just reclaimed up to 30 hours of your life. 30 hours you can use to find more clients, do higher value work, or, just not work. So what happens when you start combining a few of these automated workflows? Well, that's when you get the real payoff. That's when you finally escape the trap. And this just illustrates the transformation perfectly. Let's go back to Sarah's numbers. Before, she was making $4,200 a month, slogging away for 35 hours a week. After automation, her income jumped to $7,800, while her hours plummeted to just 12. So how is that possible? By automating all the repetitive parts of her job, the onboarding, the invoicing, her value per hour absolutely exploded. She went from earning a respectable $30 an hour to an incredible $150. She isn't working harder. Her system is working smarter. And look at this number. This is the return on her investment. For that $80 monthly spend on software, Sarah generated an extra $3,600 in income. That is a 3,000% ROI. For every single dollar she spent, she got $30 back. It's a no-brainer. And this is the key to earning more while working less. You're no longer just selling your time. You're selling a high-speed, scalable, and incredibly professional service. And guess what? Clients will happily pay a premium for that kind of efficiency and reliability. And this entire transformation doesn't take years, not even close. It can happen in under 3 months. The initial setup might take a few focused hours, sure, but it starts paying for itself within the very first week. So you should walk away from this with a clear action plan. First, just track your time for 1 week. Find your biggest time wasters. Second, sign up for a Zapier free trial and get ChatGPT. Third, build that first high-impact workflow for client onboarding. Ultimately, this isn't about working harder or just adding more to your to-do list. It's about building a smarter system that works for you, freeing you up to do what you do best. So the only question left is, what's the first task you're going to automate?